Married with Channels podcast.
Yep.
Husband, wife, talking TV shows and movies. I'm Moose.
I'm Jody.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
We're married.
We are. Long time now.
And we are talking about a little Disney Plus show and a movie.
We watched a movie.
Which I have a feeling you and I on this movie are going to have some very divergent takes.
Awesome.
So, but we'll start on the TV show.
I like it sometimes when we disagree. It's healthy. It means we're individuals.
Ooh, you might see a little marriage.
A little spat. No, we're not going to fight over this movie.
Yes, we will. Oh, it's begun.
Well, if you're looking for that, sorry.
Let's start with what the kids are watching. Kids love that crap.
Oh, my.
Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus.
Ms. Marvel.
Which is not... I knew it was a different... what's the word I'm looking for here? A different way of doing things. Mm-hmm. Different...
like rendition of?
Yeah, I thought it was like some girl finds the powers of Captain Marvel or somehow inherits those powers. I don't...
Agree.
And it's not that at all.
No.
And I don't know the backstory on this character. I don't know if it's a comic book character or if they created it. So take that for what it's worth.
Right. We're not that far into the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
like,
but basically...
I don't read comics, sorry.
The gist is, an American Pakistani teenage girl, she gets a box. Her and her mom get a box from their grandmother who lives in Karachi, Pakistan. And in the box is this bracelet, bangle.
A bangle. Yeah.
What differentiates a bangle from a bracelet?
I don't know. It's just another word for it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's like bracelet's more dainty, bangle's thick, because it was kind of thick, like a cuff, know?
Yeah, you like it thick?
Oh, my.
Yeah, a bangle, I think of like, 2 inches thick?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets this bangle. It's got like some powers associated with it, some mysticism. There's this whole like world that's kind of separate to our world, but connected. And there's this whole thing going on.
Yes.
She gets the bangle and discovers that she can make these powers, do these things with it.
Yes.
And it looks like, if I had to explain the powers, she can formulate kind of like crystal landing spots and items. Like, we've only seen her make like a big, huge hand, fist, and like these spots to stand on, walk on. Like she can
solid
create,
things.
she creates these stairs in the air made out of this crystal.
Yeah. And
power.
She can also like make it be a big solid force field to a protection, layer of protection.
So as of episode, I want to say 6 or 5, that's what she has for these powers. We've seen her kind of develop new versions of that.
So you know what it reminds me of? Mr. Freeze or Frozone. Frozone in The Incredibles. That's what I was trying to say. Not Mr. Freeze, more Frozone when he kind of lays down the ice. That's what it reminds me of, but it's purple.
Yeah. No, it's certainly in that universe of powers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the powers you'd really want if you had superpowers. To me, they're just okay.
Yeah.
It's still something better than not having powers, of course.
Sure.
I hate to sound like that guy. It's
you are that guy.
You marked this item down 70%.
That's right.
But you really couldn't do 80?
Special powers are special powers,
I know,
dude.
Right? So anyway.
And you don't have any. So, well, wait, you have many other talents.
I like the show, but I think I like the show mostly for its inclusion and diversity. I like that we're kind of experiencing a different culture by way of a friggin' Marvel TV show.
Absolutely.
Which is cool. Like, I'm not even like super into the plot, and the clandestines and they need the bangle and the mystical powers, whatever. I mean, that's cool, but I like the interaction of the characters. They're, you get the culture, and they're just like regular everyday Americans going through the regular shit, like
absolutely
problems with kids, stress as a mother.
Yep. Some of their customs, some of their celebrations, you kind of get a little peek behind the curtain there. And yeah, they're dealing with everyday stuff. And especially as, American Pakistani teenagers, like they're dealing with some stuff, things that they face. Like, I think the one character, the best friend of the main character, she was talking about like, there's a line where she's like, I'm I'm too light for some people and I'm too brown for other people.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, oh, you know?
Yeah. And
like, oh.
There's definitely some moments where you get a taste of what it's like to be, we'll just say a minority. But it's not like we're not focusing on it. We're exposed to it. We're getting a heaping of culture and exposure there.
Yeah.
But we don't have people, there's no like blatant lessons like some guy in the street say, watch it, brown girl, you know, or something like that.
It's subtlety, but it's there.
Yeah. You could replace these characters, aside from their traditions and, you know, culture. You could replace them with any other type of actress.
Absolutely. It's not a political statement being shoved down your throat with it, but it is kind of an underlying thing that's there. You know, like when some agents raided the mosque and they were like totally knew the drill, like did the steps. He's like, this is not our first rodeo, you know, of people coming in here to raid, you know.
A little sad.
It is a little sad. Yeah.
Probably true.
Probably.
But you have a lot of likable characters here. Even like the girl Zoe, who they kind of started out her being like the Mean Girls type archetype. But, you know, she ends up like, hey, I'm here to help. Yeah. And she helps them concoct this escape plan for Kamran, the boy who they're trying to get to the harbor to get him back to Pakistan. So, you know, we're not playing with stereotypes here. It's just like a good frolicking story about a kid who's coming to some powers. And also, I think there's a lot of commentary on relationships with kids, mother and daughter specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some of that. And you know, there's some father-son stuff there too, because like the son is getting married and the dad kind of talks to him about that, you know, transition in life. And yeah, it's kind of multi-generational stuff. You know, there's the grandma and kind of how each generation relates to each other. But I like it too because there's some lighthearted, humorous moments too. It's just kind of cute. So
yeah, I think it's definitely a show that if you're a mother of a teenage girl, I mean, you're a mother of an almost teenage girl.
Yeah,
I'm imagining there's probably a lot of seeing yourself in those shoes.
A little bit.
These characters.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think as a mom?
I mean, I think there's some good lessons there on how tight to hold on and when to kind of loosen that grip and let go a little bit, you know? Yeah. So yeah, there's some stuff there for sure. And now this character's a little bit older than ours. So,
she's
you know,
about 4 years old.
Yeah. So like, you know, she's not going to a party where the punch is spiked yet. Yeah.
But there are still some similarities, even with an 11-year-old like we have, where you are kind of trying to still figure out the boundaries. How much leash do you give them? How much do you pull back?
Sure.
Because you want them to be independent.
Absolutely.
Learn, make some mistakes.
Yep.
But at the same time, you don't want them drinking the spiked punch.
Right. I thought it was interesting too, like, you know, seeing her have a crush on a boy. I'm like, I'm not sure. I kind of looked over at my daughter to see like, oh, I don't know. She won't share that because it's too embarrassing, you know, but it's like, oh, does she have a crush on somebody? I hope not yet.
I think Miss Marvel's good. It's well paced. It's well written. I think it's a decent show without the superhero stuff. Yeah. That's just kind of an added little perk. Yeah. It provides the basis for like a storyline, I guess. But yeah, some really good acting, good characters. And yeah, I'd recommend Miss Marvel. I think as far as watching a show with your kids, I don't think you could do much worse. Sure. Much better. You know. Yeah, I know what I think it's a good show to watch with your kids. Yeah, it's a good kind of lighthearted family show. Yeah. So go check out Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. Yes. Okay, kiddos. All right, enough. Oh, my. Get enough of that on a daily basis. I mean, Jesus. Moving on to the movie. Oh, yes. Triangle of Sadness. Uh-huh. Which we've been kind of holding on to this one for a couple weeks. I know you're, we'll just put it out there. You weren't a fan of this? No. Okay. I did not like this movie. Why? Multitude of reasons. So, well, let's give the gist of the movie real quick. Okay, yeah. So it starts off with this young model and his girlfriend model. And then, you know, we kind of see these characters and they're in a relationship. And then it cuts to essentially a luxury yacht I don't know if I think I read after the fact that they kind of won it through her social media. Like she's a creator, content creator.
Yeah.
And so they kind of won a spot on this luxury cruise, which is, it's expensive. There's billionaires on the boat. Mm-hmm. And the boat sinks, and then a few of them arrive on an island, deserted island, and they have to survive. And that's kind of the gist of it. Mm-hmm. So tell us now, Jody, why you do not like Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah, so a lot of it was like, at first it was like, oh, this is interesting. It's an interesting group of people on this boat and how they kind of act and behave. There was some quirkiness to it, Mm-hmm. But the pacing was super slow, and it just, I don't know, it went on and on about nothing. And then there was like, I couldn't tell if it was trying to make a message about, the people, the haves versus the have-nots. Like, I think that's kind of what the global theme was throughout this situation. There was a lot of ridiculousness. Like, I mean, the scene after they all ate bad food on the ship, and just like the ridiculousness of, drunk Woody Harrelson's character and the Russian on the speaker forever. I don't know. Like, a lot of this could have been like a very short scene of stuff, and it was just really drawn out. Okay. And then like, it's one of those movies, and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it ends without really ending. Like, you don't really know what happened. And I feel like I spent all that time and all this ridiculousness to not even know what happened. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of implied, but it's not concrete. Like, did this character get there on time, or did that person go through with it? I'm not going to spoil it.
Well, we'll have some spoiler warnings.
Fine.
Because I can't talk about the end without, I'm going to have to spoil stuff.
I just talked about it.
Yeah, but I'm going to get into some of what happens on the end. Here's my take on Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah.
I agree. I think some scenes were a little drawn out.
Oh, God.
But I liked the tempo of it. I thought it made you realize that this is a movie you're going to marinate on and you're going to stick with. You're going to have to stick with it. I thought it did a great job. I like Triangle of Sadness. Ugh. I thought it was a great movie about valuing everybody. Everybody has value and everybody's important. And just because you're rich, there's almost like a responsibility with being rich. Like the scene where Carl, the young model, and his girlfriend are sunbathing. And the one guy who's working on the boat is like, he says hi to his girlfriend, and the girlfriend kind of smiles back, says hi.
Yeah.
He gets a little threatened by that.
He took his shirt off. That's why.
He took his shirt off, but he also said hi.
Yeah.
And so the boyfriend's a little insecure. And a few minutes later, he talks to the chief stew about like, hey, one of your employees kind of maybe a little too far with my girlfriend. Cut to a few minutes later, that employee's being escorted off the boat. He's essentially been fired.
Yeah.
And like, so Carl, the male model, didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
But, they're not fucking around.
Sure.
They want to cater to these wealthy individuals.
Yeah.
So if anybody's even just like making eye contact when they're not supposed to, you're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the long version of that. But I liked how it made it reversed roles, and it made you feel like even somebody as lowly as the toilet lady, the toilet manager, they called her. Mm-hmm. She literally cleans the toilets and bathrooms.
Yep.
Has some agency in life and has valuation. There's value there. And the clip I have here is from when they're on the island, and it's what, 6 survivors.
Yeah.
A couple of them are the wealthy luxury people. Mm-hmm. A couple are the staff, and one is Abigail, who's the toilet manager. Mm-hmm. She is the only one who knows how to make a fire. Mm-hmm. To get food.
To fish.
And she's gotten them some fish, and it's been cooked. And here she is. She has a big portion for herself. Mm-hmm. Everybody else got like a piece of fish.
One for you, one for me. One for you, one for me. And it was like a big old pile for her. Yeah.
Abigail has this big old pile, and the chief stew says, "What? Where are you? Are you going to give those out?" And she's like, "No."
Yeah.
Who am I? Who are you? Who am I? You're the toilet manager. No. And the toilet manager here. Captain, who am I?
You're the captain.
Throws him a piece of fish. Goes around to the next person.
Who am I?
Captain.
Very good. Cutie pie?
Captain.
Who am I?
Captain.
Who am I?
Captain.
Who am I? Who am I?
I think she's back on the chief stew.
Who am I?
Gives her the extra piece, the fish. And
In the cleaning lady here, Captain.
she's like, I'm the captain here.
I feel like she's a little opportunist there, and I think she kind of takes that advantage and kind of exploits it a little bit, you know?
But
And so again, it's, it's kind of that global theme of like, disaster was the great equalizer there. Like, it doesn't matter how rich and, spoiled you kind of are. Like, I have the skills to survive now, so I'm in charge of things,
But
somebody.
you don't think she's been exploited or taken advantage of when she was the toilet manager?
Absolutely.
Isn't it kind of nice to see somebody flip it and be like, I got the skills that you need now to survive.
Yes.
I'm the boss.
However, I think she takes it way too far with like getting everything she wants, which is, a bed partner, and she gets to sleep in the lifeboat every night. And like, she's kind of taking advantage of it. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a Lord of the Flies thing going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting look at how, like, when we're knocked down to our base levels, everybody's brought down to zero.
Mm-hmm.
How even the littlest guy can rise up.
Sure. And
has value in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the end scene, and there's going to be some spoilers here. It turns out that they are on an island that's like a resort island.
Yeah.
And a couple miles this way on the island, there's a whole damn resort. There's an elevator to the beach.
Yeah.
And it ends with Carl, the young model male. So Abigail goes on a trek with the Yaya, the model girl.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, you don't know if there's going to be a fight there because Yaya's dating Carl.
Yeah.
Abigail, who's the captain now,
mm-hmm.
has been kind of squashing on Carl, sexing up in her lifeboat.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of an item.
Yep. Because he gets food then for Yaya and everybody else. Yeah.
But maybe he's found some connection with her. Maybe
I think eventually,
yeah. And maybe it's just like you're stuck there, so I might as well have feelings for this person.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
I don't know.
But Yaya and Abigail go off and they stumble upon this beach that has luxury chairs, chairs out, and there's the elevator. Yeah, there's the elevator. And so Abigail, seeing that her reign, her new elevated status is about to end, we're all coming back to our old lives, is about to kill Yaya with a rock. She eventually stops when Yaya's like, maybe you could be my assistant.
Yeah, maybe I could help you. Maybe you could come work for me.
And so it's like, now she's maybe a step up from scrubbing toilets to working in the fashion world or working for this content creator celebrity. I don't know.
Yeah.
So she stops.
Yeah.
And then we see Carl running his ass off in their direction, and then it ends.
Yeah.
And I like that ending because is Carl running after Yaya or Abigail?
I think he's running to protect Yaya. I think he realizes that Abigail wanted to go on that hike because he might be wanting to cause Yaya harm, to get rid of her, to get her out of the picture.
Or
she's complicating things with them.
See, the way I read it is because before this, I forget her name, the German woman who had a stroke and she can only say this one phrase. Like this guy selling trinkets on the beach stumbles upon her. Yeah. And then we cut to the scene of Yaya and Abigail on the luxury resort beach elevator, whatever. So when Carl's running, I took that as he found out that they're on not a deserted island, but a populated island with
people,
with Savior.
Huh.
And he's running towards.
Well, that's an interesting theory.
And my mind is like, okay, is he running for Abigail or is he running for Yaya? I don't know. I usually don't like movies that end with kind of the cliffhanger. I mean, obviously, you expect it in something like Marvel's movies to a certain extent. You're kind of rolling your eyes a little bit. You're not buying it.
I am, because I spent all that time, all that time and that ridiculousness just to have it not really end. And I don't like that.
I get it. But I think overall, I get it. We could use like maybe more of a period at the end of this sentence for the movie.
Yeah.
But I still like the ending because I'm like, well, what was he running after? It could, like you said, it might not have been a woman. It might have been because fuck this. I'm going to the resort. I want to live now. Get back to normal life. Or it could be he's going to save Yaya, or he's going because he loves Abigail. I don't know.
I don't know.
I like the overall message of the movie where the little guy who's essentially a nobody in the world, scrubs toilets, has now agency and power. For at least a few days or a week or whatever it lasted.
I will say, like, this movie isn't what I thought it was initially. I don't know. I saw, so the only person I know actor-wise is Woody Harrelson. And I saw a clip of it, because CBS Sunday Morning did a profile piece on him. And, this is his latest role. And they played a clip, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't know. He didn't have a huge pivotal part here, and
he had maybe 10 minutes of on-screen time.
Yeah.
And the dynamic with the captain's interesting.
It is weird, yeah.
Most of the cruise, it appears Woody Harrelson, who's the captain, is like in his quarters, just drinking. You don't even see him. You hear him through the door.
Yeah, he doesn't. Everybody else runs that boat without him.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was kind of presented in almost like a Wes Anderson kind of kooky type movie.
Yes.
I don't know what you would call this movie.
I don't know
if you call it a comedy, a dramedy.
I don't think it. I mean, none of it made me laugh, really.
I mean, there's some gross out.
There's
stuff.
Gross, yeah.
There's a lot of diarrhea and vomit. In this movie.
My God, it was ridiculousness. Like, that's where it's like, okay, we get it. Like, you're just doing this because you want to, and it was over the top for me. It is definitely quirky. I don't know if you could put it in a box of comedy or dramedy. I think it was listed as a comedy, but not once did I laugh out loud. I don't know. It's just out there.
I like Triangle of Sadness.
Of course you do.
I think I like because it's quirky and different. And it's not alienating. Like, if you enjoy a movie and can sit and soak it all in, I think you'll enjoy this movie.
I don't know. I didn't get what the point of some stuff was. Like, in the beginning, there's this whole dynamic with Yaya and Carl and their restaurant situation. And then you just, what did that have to do with anything?
I think that was important because when he came to the Abigail situation, it provided context and kind of like a jumping off point. Like, you need to establish where this main couple's relationship is at and what the dynamics are between that couple. Because if you establish that it's very one-sided, the thing with Abigail won't work. You have to have, because they have a connection. At first, she seems a little like, whatever, I'm a model. But then she genuinely likes Carl, but then he gets mad at her, but he genuinely likes Yaya.
They're both ridiculous.
They are.
I mean.
Yeah, they're both.
But then, maybe it shows the cracks in the foundation of that relationship. But at one point, wasn't Carl ring shopping on the boat? He was, but how many times have you heard of people well, we'll have a kid or let's get married. That'll fix it. Sure.
It's almost sometimes, and I like that the movie presented this as kind of a knee-jerk reaction. He obviously wasn't thinking about marrying her before they got on the boat.
Yeah.
I think he felt it showed him as insecure.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
Because would he have gotten that ring if he hadn't had that situation with the deck crew member taking his shirt off and saying hi to his girlfriend?
Sure. There was a chance he might lose her, so better lock it down, And I think
and interesting because she's the successful one.
Yeah.
He's in her field, but he's not as successful. The first scene is him auditioning for a modeling gig.
Absolutely.
And they tell him, they didn't say no. They said, you need to work on this and that. Your Triangle of Sadness, which is an actual thing in modeling.
Actual thing.
You need to work on your Triangle of Sadness. There's too much there, or something like that. So they've already established he's not at the top of his game.
Sure.
She is. So he probably already feels insecure.
Yeah.
And to win her over, I got to buy her a big fucking diamond.
That was a whole nother movie sequence where I was like, what does this have to do with anything? I think you can show someone being insecure about a relationship and their status in life and their career, whatever, without all that extra scene stuff.
But didn't you think the dinner scene was very relatable? Like, because the whole problem they had at dinner is, like, the night before, she said she would pay for dinner.
Yeah.
And the check comes. Yeah. She doesn't even bat an eye at the check, and he just kind of like, and he puts his card out.
Yeah.
And without saying anything, like, she kind of senses the vibe that something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then he kind of timidly says, well, you kind of said you're going to pay for dinner. And then she's like, well, and it seemed like a real couple type of disagreement,
I don't know. When we were dating, you just paid for dinner. So I'm old fashioned that way, I guess. But
I think every couple's had that situation, whether it's the dinner or it's the, it's my turn to pick the movie or your turn to put the kid to bed.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, it is a little bit relatable, but I don't know. It just seemed like extra fluff that didn't need to be there.
I don't think so. I don't think there was much. I think some scenes were a little long. I can always find places where we can cut, but
yeah,
I kind of liked it because the pace all fit.
It was very slow.
I recommend Triangle Sadness.
Of course you do. I do not.
I think it's a different, interesting movie with some fresh stuff.
I think it's stupid, slow, and doesn't have a point.
Okay, fair
enough. Does not have a point.
We can agree to disagree.
That's right.
I think anything else?
No, that'll do it for me.
All right. So there you go. There's your latest edition of the Married with Channels podcast, where I will always get dinner.
Aww.
Actually, you will, because you're
the
breadwinner in this house, baby.
Whatever.
Sugar mama.
We're married. It's all ours.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. So make sure you, subscribe to our show, our podcast. Make sure you give us a good rating, review, all that stuff.
Share. Tell your friends.
Till next time on the Married with Channels podcast, my name is Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We'll see you later.
Bye.